Hi, in this video we will walk through the process of visually mapping data to our knowledge graph concepts. As Timbr is a virtual platform, it enables us to map data from any connected data source without copying any data. When running queries, Timbr will push down the query to the data source and fetch back the results. So let's begin. Let's visually map data to concept contract. There are a few ways to perform mappings in Timbr. One of those ways would be by clicking on Model and entering Timbr's data mapper. In our Ontology Explorer, we have a couple additional ways to visually map data. One way is to click on Create and choose New Mapping. In the window that appears, we can create, edit, and delete mappings. To create a mapping, we'll click on Map Data and choose whether we'd like to map a multi-value property or a many-to-many relationship, which we will demonstrate in one of our next videos. However, in this video, we will focus on mapping data to our knowledge graph concepts from a database table. To do that, we would click on Concept Mapping, though let's see the last way to visually map data. The last way would be to right-click on the concept we want to map our data to and choose Mappings. So let's map data to our concept contract. Once again, in the window that appears, we'll click on Map Data and choose Concept Mapping. As mentioned in previous videos, the whole modeling and mapping process in Timbr can be done using SQL DDL statements, or it can be done visually without the need to use any code. We are now looking at the visual mapping method. However, for those who prefer to map data using SQL, we would simply change the toggle on the top right from visual to SQL. We'd enter our SQL mapping statement and create the mapping by clicking on Create SQL Mapping. We'll dive deeper into the SQL option in our next videos, but for now, let's return to the visual method. Great. So right beneath the toggle, we could see that we are mapping data to our concept contract. To map data to our concept contract, we'll choose our data source, as well as our schema. Once the schema is chosen, we will see all the tables that exist in the schema we chose. Timbr will make sure to let us know which tables have already been mapped to our knowledge graph and which haven't. As we can see, 8 tables have not been mapped yet to the knowledge graph concepts, and one table, the people table, has been mapped already. Great, so let's choose the table contracts for our concept contract. The only thing left now is to match our concept contract's properties with the matching data source columns. We can perform the matching manually by choosing the properties one by one. We can see that Timbr has automatic cast suggestions when the property type is different from the column type. We can also decide to perform a cast or any other transformations ourselves. In addition, we can click on Add All Suggestions and have Timbr automatically make the matches for us. In this case, Timbr was able to match 5 out of 5. Though it is important to check, as sometimes we will need to manually make the matches ourselves. At this stage, before saving and creating the mapping, we can decide to click on Filters in case we want to clean or apply some rules on the original data that's being mapped. Once everything is matched and ready to go, we'll click on Create Mapping, and we're done. You can always click on Fetch Sample Data to review the mapping and the data associated with the concept. Just like that, in a matter of seconds, we were able to map data to a concept without having to move any data or use any code at all.